You know, right, the podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in entertainment, sports, entrepreneurship, and reality TV. Nick Durst here, along with Joe Calabrese. And Joe, it's been a long time coming, but we finally have gotten our guest today back on the You Know I'm Right podcast. Yes, it was a great time the first time. We figured it's time to have him back for an update because a lot's been going on since the last time we had him on the show.
Absolutely. He's doing his thing out in California, and we hope he's safe considering the firefighters there are still battling the fires as of this recording. But we welcome back again, two-time guest, two-time challenge contestant. If you count as Big Brother Run, two-time fourth place contestant, right? Sorry,
Right?
Kai, but
No,
appreciate having him on. And we welcome back Kyland Young to the show. Kylan, how you doing, pal?
I'm doing well, thank you. Yes, I'm downtown. So we were surrounded by the fires, but not directly touched. Definitely indirectly affected just with, it reaching so many people. But fortunately, like you said, firefighters, first responders been doing a lot, and really the city has been coming together. And I've been fortunate to work with some cool people, organizations as well. And yeah, I'm just glad, that I'm okay. And everyone I know is, even the people that lost their homes and stuff are still in high spirits. So, yeah, we're doing good. And yeah, feeling grateful. So thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. You guys doing well?
Yeah, we're doing well. I mean, things have been great for us as of late, and they're even better now that we have you on the podcast with us. Uh,
Thank you.
Highland, I know you're a big movie buff, so you really love this time of year where we're going into the awards season. And I mean, this is your chance right now. Go ahead and plug that YouTube channel. But I think you should be doing some sort of Oscars preview or watch along show. I mean, I think that would be tremendous for you because you're a huge movie guy.
I appreciate that. I need more encouragement like that because those are things I have interest in doing, and I do need to just, it is execution is everything, and I think reminders like this are helpful. So thank you, Nick. I'm definitely gonna. Those are things I want to do, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, it's little pushes like this that hopefully will. I'm gonna try and use to get me in the habit of doing them. So.
All right, Nick, I have a great idea. Kylan's going to start a movie podcast. We're going to call it the Cinephile Podcast.
Yes, there we go.
Okay.
Um, no, but our friend Adnan, who's a very near and dear friend to us at MLB Network, he hosted the Cinephile Podcast, his movie podcast for the longest time. I think
Oh.
obligations have, I don't know what happened, Nick. He's not doing it anymore, right?
Yeah,
So if
there
you
were
need somebody to take it over, I think
Hold
he
the
on.
Twitter
a
handle's already
younger,
there,
a
closing on
younger,
10,000 people. So
right, a younger, charismatic. I
emphasis
don't
on young.
emphasis on young. I don't want to say as good looking because I think Adnan will get insulted, but I think if we need a successor here, I think Kylan's the guy. Kylan, what was the last movie you saw?
Last movie I saw, like in theaters or at home?
Ooh, in theaters.
It's got to be wicked.
In in theaters, I saw Wicked several times in theaters. It may actually,
I heard it was
um,
good.
it is, yeah, yeah.
I heard it
Actually,
was
that
very good.
funny.
Yeah.
I think that was the last one I saw because
Right.
I went to, yeah. You know what's funny? Alyssa Lopez from my season of Big Brother. She came to
Former
town.
You
We
Know
were
I'm
still
Right
really
guest,
good
of
friends.
course.
Yes. Yeah, so we're really good friends, and so she was in town, and on her last night, she's like, "Hey, like, what if we just like, I haven't seen Wicked yet, and I
Mm.
heard good things, and I heard you like it. Would you be down?" And I was like, "Of course I'd be down. Are you
Are
kidding
you
me?
are
I
you a
heard that you
Regal
cried."
or an AMC guy or independent?
Uh, so I'm an AMC because of the AMC Subs Fest. It's
Yeah, so
just
you could
such a
just
good,
go.
yeah, it's just so good, and I do love the IMAX and the different. I like having the option to watch different screenings, and the AMC lets you do that easier than the Regal does. So that
So
is
put
yeah.
put you on the spot here. Who's your winner? Forget about the Oscars. We want about the Kylands. Picture of the year, 2024.
Ooh. Um, it's funny is I'm like, I feel like I do want to see now. I'm like, what are even just to see what I'm like, because I'm blanking
A
out
lot of
on what
movies
I
coming out.
saw
Yeah,
this
go
year.
ahead, check the
Yeah,
nominees. That's
like,
fine.
yeah, I'm like, I do want to check because I was like, there was some good ones. Um, let's see.
The
What
last
is?
movie I saw in
Oh,
theaters was Barbie.
what?
He's not
Oh
a movie guy.
man,
See, I live right.
Barbenheimer. Did you at least watch both?
No, I
No,
saw
I
I
didn't.
didn't see it in theater, but I saw Oppenheimer after the fact.
Got it. Okay, so last year, yeah, Wicked was amazing and I love it, but I think uh probably man, I gotta say, I think it might be oh, you know what? It's kind of for me, it's between like two. I loved Inside Out 2, but I actually enjoyed The Wild Robot more. I don't know if you saw that. That was very sweet DreamWorks animated film that was about like this robot that adopted this little baby Gosling, and it for me was just very relatable. I mean, my mom's
Hmm.
an amazing mom, and that's what the robot becomes, and just pushing and helping teach kid to fly, and the kid kind of takes on a lot of robot like qualities. So that was funny, like with Derek calling me Kyborg this season, because I was like, yeah, I've been called a robot since I was like in grade school, so
Yeah.
that made sense. So I think I related to that extra personal. But the other one that I was looking at that I was like, oh yeah, this was actually a unexpected was the where did it just go? Oh, Dune 2 actually was. I mean, I unexpected for
I
me
had to see
because
it.
yeah, it is good. Like Dune 1, the first time I watched it, I was just kind of like underwhelmed. I was like, I feel like this is supposed to be this epic that inspired Star Wars, and I was just so underwhelmed, almost bored. And then I rewatched it at home, like because I was like, I'm gonna go see the second one because I'm interested. And rewatching it, like I think in that mindset of, I also didn't know Dune 1 was just a setup for Dune 2.
Yeah.
So I think that mindset of like, okay, this is just gonna be a setup. I was like, I really enjoyed it. And then Dune 2, I was fully blown away in it. So I think it's definitely worth it. And I feel like pretty consistent. I haven't talked to anyone who didn't really enjoy Dune 2. So that was a
All right.
very awesome theater experience.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, me, the only time I really got the chance to watch movies is on airplanes. I don't have the chance to get to the theaters too much. I
Okay.
think the last movie I saw before Barbie in theaters was it The Green Mile? I mean, that's the last before that. So I was like, I went like 5 years
No.
without going to theaters.
Wait, no, Green Mile is like, wait, am
Yeah.
I mixing up movies? Isn't that like
No, you don't.
20
I'm
years?
thinking of a different movie. I'm thinking was it The Green Book?
Green Book.
Book.
Oh, Green Book.
That's
Okay.
why I'm
So
that's why I'm laughing because the Green
2018.
Mile's like yeah, it's like
Oh,
20
the
plus
Green
years
Mile
old.
is like from the 90s, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1998. The Green Mile. Yeah. So The
That's why
Green
I was
Book.
like, got it, got it. Yes, with Vigo,
It's
yeah,
Green
and,
Book.
and
That was a good one.
Mahershala, yes, yes. No, for sure. So that's wild. Yeah, I noticed. I almost feel like I'll note I have like withdrawals if I go to the movies like if for
Mm.
too long. If it's like been a month or something, I'm like, why don't I feel right? I
So when you're
feel
leaving for reality shows, Kylan, the day before you go, you're going out and saying, as soon as you get back in the States, right to the theater.
for sure, for sure.
All right, fair enough. Curious, when you wake up in the morning, because you're very plugged in, obviously, with everything. What's the first app you're checking in the morning on your phone?
I want to give some profound answer, but probably, I mean, outside of like, texts, uh, it probably, it probably is Twitter,
Okay.
just because I can see like if something's trending worldwide that like stands out to me. I don't really like scroll a lot on Twitter. So unless like it's for, unless the episode's airing and like them
Yeah.
scrolling through the hashtag to engage live. But outside of that, like I don't just scroll on Twitter. So I more check it to see like, okay, is anything trending that is huge to me or huge to the world or whatever. And then usually it's not. So then I'm like, all right, cool. So then I go into, um, you know, uh, checking with, checking WhatsApp. We have a family group text on WhatsApp and Instagram, just for DMs. Once again, more than scrolling. Um, yeah, in that order.
It's interesting because a lot of people like to hate on Twitter and X, but that's the most popular answer we get as far as when I ask, what's the first app you go on? And everyone it was the same reason. So it's
I
very
thought it
Yeah.
was gonna I thought it was gonna be Instagram because Kylan's become such a ladies' man on the challenge, you know? Figure all those girls are sliding in his DMs. How many girls are actually sliding in your DMs? I want to know.
Not nearly as many as you think, I gotta say. I feel like it
on the
is
show
on.
though. Everyone's sliding over to see Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, it happens every once in a while, but it is a lot more men.
You
Men are so much more bold, apparently, for sliding into DMs.
Well,
gotta
you
be
know what it
careful.
is? Your buddy Big D, he's always posting about you, so they must get the idea from his stories.
Probably no. I love Big D. But yeah, so that is. But it happens every once in a while. I feel like and it's not a bad place to meet people. You scroll, you play the little game, you like somebody's photos, like you
Yeah.
like three photos in a row, and then see if they like a couple of photos, and you're like, oh, what's up?
Mm. Well, take notes, Joe, in case you ever get on reality TV. You'll have to know for
Sure.
the future. So, Kylan, last time you were on, you just came off Challenge USA. So, I mean,
Oh wow, what?
I'm sure you were hoping to get the call from MTV for the challenge. You do. So, what's your reaction when you find out that you're getting cast for the challenge? Because everyone says, "Oh, you go on Big Brother, you go on the challenge." There really hasn't been too many people in the last 5 years, with your season on, that are getting the call for the main
Yeah.
challenge. So, talk to us about how excited you were and right away your mindset of let me go study and get ready to prepare for the show.
Yeah, I'd say I was definitely excited. I'm thinking back to when I got the call for USA, like, hey, we have like this spinoff coming up, and they didn't really give us too many details besides that. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do like a spinoff, like, because I really want to do the main challenge. And I remember I actually talked to Mark Long about it, and he
Yeah.
was like, you should definitely do it. He's like, get in the world, just get your foot in the door, and definitely do it. And I was so glad I did. I had an amazing time, and so then I got a call for USA too, and then all of a sudden I got another call that was like, hey, by the way, like you're actually just an alternate, and I was like,
Hmm.
okay, and they're like, hey, but it's okay, like just trust me, it's okay, and I was like, all right, like that, like all the alternates I know for USA One didn't play, so this doesn't sound like a good position to be in, and then she's like, no, 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 you're fine. And then all of a sudden everybody's leaving for USA Two, and I was like, all right, so it still feels like it sucks. And then she's like, yeah, so you're not leaving, but I'll give you a call later. And then like a week or a couple days later, maybe I got the call for they're like, hey, so for 39, and I was like, oh, this is actually cool. So it was a blessing in disguise, and yeah, and it really was. I think about that because I was like, I wouldn't have been on 40 without 39. Like for
Right.
it was all
Right.
MTV people. So if I just did the CBS, I wouldn't have had a chance. So it's I think everything and also once again too, it's like getting as targeted as I was on 39 uh, is the only reason I had an opportunity to demonstrate like a skill set with the eliminations. I think I always say
Yeah.
like
Built
outside of
reputation.
outside of winning challenges like the championships, like eliminations are the only thing that you can really use to build a resume quickly. Like nobody really is paying attention to dailies as much, and so it worked out. And eliminations have always been like my favorite part of the game, like even just to watch.
Right.
And usually like those are the things I want to try the most. And so it all worked out. I was like, okay, you know what? Good thing that the road was so rough because it led here. And so my studying though just like before USA, I watched like in the 30s, like maybe not all the seasons, but several seasons because I didn't have that much time, and that was in the whirlwind of post Big Brother. But then before 39, I definitely watched more, and by the time we got to 40, I was I'd say like almost an encyclopedia sort of level of knowledge. Like it was, they would ask me about stuff from their seasons. Like they'd be like, "Wait, when I did this, who was that?" And I was like, and I like knew it, like because I can study for like stuff like that. I can hold memory pretty well for like I have pretty good memory like for cramming, studying like that. So right now you ask me, I know half of that information. But while we were there,
Yeah.
I knew everybody in the house's elimination records, which seasons they won, and it was so it was what countries what country and city every challenge was in, every final was in. So it was like Uh, yeah, I prepared deeply watching everything.
Now, was there anybody in either 39 or 40, not from the Big Brother world, but from the challenge world that you were hoping you were going to be on the show with that wasn't on either of the shows?
Well, 39. I don't know, honestly, because I feel like 39 and 40, I was just happy to be there.
Right.
Let me fix this light for a second because I realized I saw part of my face isn't as good. So I'm going to see if I move it, if that helps.
Pretty boy, like you
Um,
said, Joe.
right?
hey, I see you lit so well, so I was like, man, let me try
I
and get
know.
on that
Joe's
level.
got up his
That's
game
all.
too, because I got
I
like the
do.
pristine camera over here.
Yeah, Nick's got the best lighting and camera of
Yeah,
the three.
truly. I'm
Yeah.
like, hold on. Um, but yeah, I think that the most notable miss that people talked about was Wes,
Hmm.
probably from 40.
Yeah,
39, everyone was missing. It
right.
was just a bunch of
It's
basically
interesting
newbies.
you mentioned West because his first season of the challenge is very similar to your first, where just all the eliminations kept winning, kept winning, kept winning. Didn't win the show, but that's how he got the start. You're totally right. It's all about it's you get either win the show or win the eliminations.
Yeah. So that was yeah, that was fortunate. So it would have been interesting. Everyone we were trying to guess too, like who Wes would have replaced if he came in, because he would have been Air Two, and
Yeah,
who knows? It's like with and how that would have shifted the dynamic, or if at all. Like there
yeah.
was so much going on
Probably,
in that
probably,
house.
probably Ryan.
Yeah, easily. Yeah, yeah, it could have been. Who knows? And I love Ryan, so I'm glad
Yeah,
that I got to meet Ryan.
it
So
all worked out.
it all worked out.
You think
Exactly.
Wes is gonna stay retired from the challenge?
I don't think so forever because he kind of has mentioned how he's like, hey, the retirement is it for like I think he said he's like right now for the next couple of years I'd say I'm like 90. I think he said like 90 or 95% retired. Like
Yeah.
he's like if something if I
Can't blame
feel
him when you have a young
yeah.
kid at home to go away for. I mean, how long were you gone for season 40? 12 weeks?
Yeah, about almost 12 weeks. Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
was the second longest or something they
Right.
said.
Because
So it's pretty rough.
we interviewed, and it'll be out on next week's episode, Adam Larson from All Stars. And he said, if you're going to the end in All Stars, you're gone for like a max of 5 weeks. So
Yep.
he's like, that's why a lot of us want to do the All Stars instead that are older.
Truly, that's what I've heard. Yeah.
Yes, it's
It
such an
seems.
obligation, such a grind. And for
But you
you,
know what?
yep, go ahead.
No, I mean maybe you were gonna say a similar thing. Like I was like, actually, it's funny because when I'm there, I'm always like like I can tell how much Big Brother set me up for that. Like in a prepared me for that. Because I
Right.
can feel everyone, we're there for 3 months in Big Brother. And this was
Yeah,
like almost 3 months.
no
And
big
it's
deal.
yeah, and this was the longest. So you could see people get restless. Like, they start to get a little cabin fever at like week 5, and I'm like chilling. Like it's noticeable. And I think that is something that some Big Brother people. I think that is a factor that's allowed Big Brother people to do. I'd say disproportionately well compared
Right,
to
because
people coming from
you
other
get
shows.
Big Brother, you're locked in the house. The challenge, you're
Yeah,
going out. I mean,
Yeah.
what's much better.
huge. It's like we get to go outside anytime we want. Like that is in Big Brother house, people always don't realize that the backyard, we're only there 2 days a week. So 5 days a week you have no sunlight and no fresh air basically. And whereas like the challenge week, I'm like, yo, you guys, we can go outside whenever we want. This is amazing. Like
What
so yeah.
what are the other biggest differences? Because I think social game is incredibly different, especially in Big Brother. It's like you need to work with teams at the same time. It's like you need to value your individual game. Whereas the challenge, I think it's like kind of like tribe warfare in a little like survivor kind of way, until you navigate your way through the show. And then for you personally, like your competition prowess is in with like puzzles and stuff. And obviously that's something that translates from the Big Brother game to the challenge. So, what other like differences do you see? The biggest differences between the two?
I mean, Big Brother's hands down the most complex and difficult game of I think all of the competition shows. Like it just is so nuanced and that length of time is huge and that isolation is just such a huge factor that you can't like, when Sari went on one of the more recent seasons and was talking about how much harder it was mentally and emotionally, it's like we knew that. We're like, yeah, we always knew that. It was disproportionately. So I think that the in so many ways, it's like the challenge is almost like summer camp in a lot of ways. Like, yeah, like it can be, it can be a lot compared to real life, but it's not like it is, I'm not seeking, uh, I think everyone who does Big Brother needs therapy after, whereas like the challenge, it's like maybe, 10% of
Woo!
people could benefit from it if they had a particularly challenging like emotional experience. But for the most part, I think most people leave it and they're like, fine. And like there's not a recovery after the challenge. Even doing, this full season 40 for almost, over 10 weeks. It is still like I'm I felt recovered in a matter of weeks as opposed to like Big Brother like I'm still recovering. So it is I think that mental emotional taxing is just so much deeper, and also a big part of it isn't just I mean it is the isolation and the type of game it is and the nuance to it, but it's also because Big Brother you have to be on 24/7 if you want to do well. Like there's just no other way to do well without being on 24/7 for 3 months. And that is very taxing. And whereas the challenge, like you really can just kind of kick it. Like not that it's not hard and challenging and strategy doesn't matter and all those things, but it's like the pieces of the game are so,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so
There's
isolated.
more downtime, right? I mean,
So much more
what's the
downtime.
schedule like? You do the daily challenge, the next day's elimination,
Monday
then
daily challenge. Tuesday, or sorry,
finally.
Monday night after the challenge, you go out to the bar. Tuesday night is the elimination. Tuesday during the day, you might do some interviews. Wednesday, you're probably doing some interviews, have a little bit of downtime. Thursday, you repeat the
It's
Monday,
like, yeah,
Friday.
so you're getting like
Uh,
a day and a half kind of
Weekend,
off.
you're off. Like
Right.
the weekend, you're just chilling at the house. You might do
Nice.
As
some
opposed
interviews
to
on
the
Sunday.
Stockholm syndrome. Wait, Kylan, please come to the therapy room.
You're like, did they say therapy? That was diary room. They're like, same thing. No. Um, like the room where I go talk to myself. It's like, this sounds something else. No. But yeah, so that is, I think that's huge. And yeah, and that's why I learned, I feel like really, mostly in 40, watching like the vets is like, you can really just chill like a lot of the time. Not like chill, like, you still want to maybe prep or whatever, like, make sure you get your
Right.
workout in each day or
Yeah.
something, but it's not, yeah, you're, it's not crazy, you know, difference as far, or it's
Right.
not
Because if
crazy
like,
being on,
if
yeah,
you're not nominated, you could probably just chill. Whereas in Big Brother, you got to worry about
literally.
if there's going to be a twist, the back door. So you're always got to be
You're
on.
always you're always campaigning in the Big Brother house. In
Exactly,
the
because you're,
challenge, some like there are times where
Ebbs
you
and
can coast a
flows.
little bit. Yeah, there
yeah,
are ebbs and flows.
you're not a target in the challenge this season. Like you guys
Yeah.
don't get last, you're not a target. You're chilling the next 4 days, three
Yeah.
days, whatever, depending on what day it is. So it's like it is, yeah, it's very much different. And but and then the eliminations are, like I said, my favorite part to watch. But I do feel like a big reason why I love them so much is it is just symbolic of you. It's like you can't vote me out. You have to beat me. And I think that's a really cool part of the
Right.
game.
Yep. So what was it like? Now we learned who you were first on Big Brother, obviously, and the audience is similar, overlap, but a little bit different. But what was it like revealing on the challenge that you were on the spectrum? Because you talked about this with Nick and I the first time, we did the interview with you and about how you overcame those challenges as you were growing up. So what was it like sharing that with them, receiving the support and kind of getting your story out there to, again, similar, but a little bit of a different audience?
It's interesting because it's like, especially the difference from like USA, because even when I did USA, I was still a little bit figuring out like, because I didn't get the diagnosis till after Big Brother. And that was just from people watching, observing me, and noticing things and recommending me. And then I was like, oh, okay, and the diagnosis just provided a lot of clarity as far as like, okay, that makes sense. And then but USA, I was still like, I think processing it and processing like how to talk about it. And then afterwards, I had someone was close to me that was talking about how they were worried about their young, toddler son potentially being on the spectrum. And they were like, but it was, seeing you has made us not as worried about that because it's like, okay, there's still so much more possibilities. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. They can have that effect when people are aware. So like, then it did make me want to be more proactive in talking about it and letting people be aware of it. And so, every time that they're asking me about it, I have no problem talking about it because it's like, yeah, it's not my whole, personality. It's not like the most important part of me. But it is a part of me that, and since it can have that impact, like I do like to talk about it and acknowledge the things that it helps with. And, on the flip side, it provides a lot, it's double edged. There's a lot of challenges that come with it, especially in terms of like the social dynamics in the game. It is different to make relationships in
Yeah.
that environment specifically because what is a common trait for people on the spectrum is that social interactions are very intentional, um, and intentional and that's because it's like people learn human interaction through osmosis just by being around it, seeing it, they just do it. As opposed to like me, like it's a very intentional trial and error, noticing, taking notes, like mental and literal physical notes to see like, oh, okay, this is something that makes people feel this way. And if they feel this way, then they'll respond this way. And I want to pay attention to that. And it wouldn't be my natural way to interact, but I've noticed across the board, this is how people interact in these situations. So I want to do that. And so I'm doing it intentionally.
Yeah.
And in real life, people take that and they appreciate it in day-to-day life. They just don't notice it usually. In the challenge environments like that, part of you is, even if you're not playing the game 24/7, you still have a little bit of a filter on of like skepticism of the people around you because you're like, A, can I trust them in this game? B, I think mentally, at least subconsciously, your brain wants to protect you from interacting with other people. So it's like looking for flaws and reasons to potentially like keep in your back pocket, if not the front of your pocket, to not feel bad if you have to target someone or if you
Yeah.
have to put your hands on somebody in an elimination or whatever. You want to, so your brain is always running this. So when you have that level of skepticism on, when you have your brain constantly working, what can make me feel okay about otherizing this other person or distancing, you notice those things more. So then I encounter people that are like, I've found out through like conversations, they're like, oh, like, this feels fake or insincere. And I'm like, well, because it is. It's not natural to me as far
Yeah.
as the action, but the intention of wanting to demonstrate kindness or understanding or empathy or whatever it is the intention is real and genuine. The action might be, intentional and calculated or whatever, but it's not like done for malicious reasons. It's just because of how I operate. So like on so I think that was interesting to learn, really a little bit in 39, but definitely in 40. And I feel like and sharing that with people, I think is giving, I hope, more understanding for people when they interact with someone and they notice that like something's off or different. It's like, well, because something is different,
Yeah.
but that's it doesn't mean the intention's different, and that's been yeah, that's I know it wasn't directly answering, but that's kind of those are
No,
the
that's
things that
great.
like
I
I
mean, you
like
No,
to
might have
it's
talk
saw
about.
me. I was smiling in the beginning. It brings them a smile on my face to just hear somebody talking so openly about this. And I really commend you for, shouldering that and being open about it. Because a lot of people might, whatever game or even in life, just try to hide that to try to, whatever reasons.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be different, and but yeah, it's I think I like talking about it because I also get to talk about, solutions, like things I work on and benefits, practices that I use to help me, interact with certain traits. And then also some of the benefits as far as like I process information really fast and I take in a lot of information really fast and process it. And so it's like, and that can benefit me in competition sometimes because you want to make quick judgments for uh, decision making and trial and error to figure out how do I do better at this challenge or this elimination or whatever it is.
sensory overload, I think is what they call it. But
Yeah.
if we're going to talk about interactions and important conversations and being able to share this, with other people, two people you trusted, Mel and Naya, you still in contact with them, both of them?
Yeah, I mean, light, I'd say light, I'm, more light friend conversations with both of them. I think that, Mel obviously is in Europe, and I think that's always been, different time zones, so many things. But we check in every so often. There's lots of, care there and everything. And the same thing for Naya. Naya's all over the world because she's, travel, vlogging, and her flight attendant work. But we just talked, I think, before, a couple, just texting before the show. And so she's, I think, yeah, they're just really special people to me, I think, in general. So I'm glad that I got to get to know both of them.
No, very, very nice. So let's talk about the Challenge 40, the final, which I don't think it was set up for Jordan to win. It was just that a matter of like, in my opinion as a viewer, whoever was the best swimmer was probably going to win the final. So what take Jordan aside, whoever was the best. So to me, I didn't like the final because my favorite thing about the final is always the equalizers, which is the puzzle. So it doesn't matter how far somebody's ahead and running. Um, you know, the whole season you were running, you're right there, 1 and 2 with Jordan. And then this final also had no food eating, which was that was a little strange for a big season 40, which I'm sure you were mentally prepared for, did the best of your capabilities. So all swimming instead of a little bit of swimming. So for you, obviously, it didn't turn out well, uh, and that's just because it was all swimming. If it was on land, do you think that you would have won the competition?
I mean, I do, but that's what you're supposed to think. Like, I
Yeah,
think, I don't know. Um, but I also feel a little bit of validation in that thought because the thought feels evidence based
yeah,
on the performance that we had throughout the season. But uh, yeah, I mean, I really just wanted to give Jordan a run for his money because I think that was the crazy thing is when we got there and Jordan arrived, you like there is such an air of him like as a competitor where
yeah.
people are just like bef in that when he arrived, it's like, oh, Jordan's here. Jordan's gonna win. Like, because he's here. Like, you got to get him out, or he's gonna win. And it's just
Yep.
like, I'm like, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Like, I've never competed against Jordan, so I didn't know. And I consider Jordan the best competitor in the game. So like, I was like, but I think I'm prepared to take this guy on. So I studied him and the game and worked really hard on all the skill sets I think I need. And but we'll see because you don't know that this was to be clear, I went in still confident, but like not without doubt and not without humility because I was like, you know what, these guys all have more experience. And I even called, I've mentioned before, I even called Horacio and Reese literally, I think the day before we left. I was like, I'm just having a moment like I can compete with these guys, right? Because I've never played with them. You
Yeah.
guys played with some of them, are ride or dies. I've never played with any of them, in the game. Maybe a couple eliminations in 39, but and they were like, no, like you can hang, and I was like, okay, like I think I can. And then we start playing, and our Air 4 was winning the most dailies, and I feel like I'm a good part of that. But we had such a strong era in general, and then I also feel like when we got to what's it called? Individual. Then I was like, oh, okay, like I can hang with these
Yeah.
guys, and that felt good. And so, yeah, I mean, I like what you said about like, it was just built for the best swimmer. Like it's not built for Jordan. It's the best swimmer who makes it to the final.
Yep.
And the other credit that I always give him, like Jordan's the best swimmer, but he also had to work harder than anyone else to be that good at swimming. Like it's not just the amount of time he put in. Like whatever time he put in, he also had a natural born obstacle
Yeah.
and overcame that and to become as good as he is. So it
Yeah.
was
Have
crazy
you
to
ever
witness.
seen a
Yeah.
more grueling elimination than Cara Maria and Tori? I mean, that was scary to watch. I can only
Yeah.
imagine if you're on the boat watching that.
No, that was grueling. I mean, most uncomfortable was Avery and Rachel in that boxing, blindfolded
Yeah.
boxing thing, because we're like, it was definitely a point where everyone was just like, this is not safe
Painful.
or fun. But the grueling for sure, like, you're just like watching them for out, and if, we don't even know, it feels so long when you're just sitting, staring, watching, and they're grinding it out, and it was so much like you could tell, like they had to change it to like lifting out their
Yeah.
elbows
Once
and
the elbows went up, I was like, somebody's going to drown now.
yeah, they needed that because and they needed to make that rule because they were both prepared to stay there as long as it took until one of them drowned. So,
Yeah.
um, props to Cara because I know, especially with her discomfort in water, and it's funny because it was, she got sent into elimination on her birthday, and it was like funny how it turned out to be a great birthday present for her to not be there in that final.
Yeah,
That was the gift,
I
actually.
think if she beat Tori, she would have came in fourth place too.
Oh,
And
she might have drowned.
it's not that you and her are bad swimmers. It's just that that was so much swimming.
It's so that's why I was glad
Because
they
you did
showed
good
some
in
of it.
the regular daily swimming challenge.
Thank you, because I did. And what was annoying is that I think there was a little bit of like editing magic because they show like it's clearly, TJ from behind all of a sudden is saying like you don't see his face, but the
No, we
audio
pick
says
it
like
up.
It says like Kyland and Derek are, the slowest times or whatever. And like I was watching it like, and you like none of our expressions change because I was like, I don't recall, nobody recalls him saying that, but that could just be us. But
I
I
think a
do
lot
feel
of this
like,
stuff is voiced over post production
yeah, but I do feel like they were just like, okay, we need to set up that Kyland is not a great
for the
swimmer because I was
finale,
like, I'm
right?
pretty sure I got second when we did that, but that's another, that could just
Yeah.
be, maybe I
And Derek
misunderstood
too.
something.
I mean, they set you
Yeah.
guys up.
Yeah, but yeah, with the off the cliff. So I just was like, all right. So I did practice swimming, and I like to let people know that because I was a terrible swimmer, and I didn't realize how bad until USA won. We did the swimming challenge, and I was one of the worst swimmers there. And I was like, even though I was in like pretty good shape, I was like, oh, I'm a terrible swimmer. I need to work on this. And so I did. I met with some friends and probably doubled, like if not tripled, my swimming speed for like a short distance because that's all you normally need is you just need a little short distance. And this season they were like, hey, so like, 40, what if we do something crazy? And we were, and especially with TJ telling us about the location change, and he's like, hey, let's go somewhere less green. So in our head, we're like, we're gonna go to the Sahara Desert, or we're gonna go to Everest.
Nice.
We're gonna go to some mountain or some desert, and then we pull up to just the water, and we're like, well, this is unexpected and different, and that created my beef with TJ when because in the mini final, he was like, if you can win this mini final, you have everything it takes to win my final, and I was
Right.
like, yes. And then I got there and I was like, TJ, you lied.
Yep.
There's no sand dunes here at all. Uh, so that was
Kylan,
yeah, some trouble.
how many times have you been either in the pool? The weather in LA is still pleasant, but it's a little too cold for the ocean. How many times have you been in water since the final challenge to try to brush up on your improve your swimming skills?
I'll say a couple, and I'll just let people be surprised. All right, we'll say a couple of times.
It's not because you're a bad
You must-
swimmer. You're a very good
No,
swimmer.
not very good. I was not bad though. I was definitely not bad before, but that distance was just another
Too much.
game. Like the distance was just and it was like Jordan also is so far, like it was not a close, like there was no conversation for Derek or Johnny. They were fighting for
Yeah.
second and third between them. It was like Jordan up front, me in the back, and these two were like
9%.
somewhere in the middle. And it was just like not even kind of close. And it was wild to see. And I think, made it a little bit uneventful because it is like you said, there is usually the equalizers of the puzzles.
Yeah.
And I was told that I had the fastest time on most of the checkpoints during the final.
Yeah.
It just didn't matter because it just
Right.
took me so long to
To
get
get
there.
there.
So
Yeah, and I was hoping
and then get back.
the convo was gonna bump you to third, but I guess just too far behind. But there's a lot of good karma coming your way. You helped Rachel, you helped Michelle in the final. Beyond that, in the moment, did they thank you after the fact for helping them? Because they were gonna be stuck there all day if you didn't help them onto the platform.
They might have been. I mean, they definitely thanked me then. I mean, there's so much going on. They could have said something again on the boat, but they definitely thanked me there, and it was sincere and appreciative. And for me, I just was like, what else am I gonna do? Like,
Yeah.
let people run there. I was just like, honestly, I think one of the two thoughts I've said that kept me going through the final was gratitude around the fact that there was no purge and I got to finish. And I was when they kind of
Right.
made that, indicated that beforehand. And I was like, thank
I think
God, because
you would
like
have been better off if there was a purge because you could have knocked somebody out, and then you could have if it was an
I couldn't
elimination.
though. I couldn't make the distance though. That's the oh yeah. If
Well,
there's a purge like
if there was an
elimination,
elimination, you
yes.
knock them
I
out, you
just
get
mean
third, you
purges
get the
in
money.
last place gets cut. If
Then
it was
yeah,
last
yeah.
place
But if
gets
there
cut,
was an
I'm out.
elimination, if it was a
Yes,
purge, no.
for sure. Oh, that elimination different. Yeah. But the so I was thankful there's that, I got to finish, and I was thankful that we weren't partnered at any point,
Right,
because I truly think I would still be in a spiral of depression right now if I felt I held somebody back.
right.
And it's crazy because I could have been randomly partnered with Tori, and I would be sitting here thinking like I made Tori get fourth. There was like
Yeah.
she was absolutely going to get first if
She
it was
would
not
have
for
pissed
me,
off.
and
Right,
I'd be devastated. And so to not have to worry about
right.
that for anybody is nice.
Well, just remember this, Kyland. Hard work pays off, dreams come true. Bad times
Thank
don't
you.
last, but good guys do. So you'll be there and you'll be back and you'll be ready to swim, I'm sure. Like you said, a little bit of a teaser there.
I love it.
Were you surprised that the game changed to individuals so quickly? Because they really hyped it up from us as a viewer, as you obviously were there, thinking like this is going to be an ultimate team game, a throwback to the old school shows where it's truly going to be a team winner. So were you surprised? I'm guessing you all kind of knew at some point it was going individual, but were you surprised basically how quickly the team split up? And you think that was something they had to do due to the fact that Era One was gone? That they were like, all right, we got to switch to individuals now.
No, I think that so I mean I used to work on some production stuff in a marketing sense where we'd set up a lot of events and everything. And so I feel like I do genuinely believe that all these seasons, the format is pretty well planned
Hmm.
before we start.
Right.
So I do think that they had, it's pretty hard to move around like a production where they're building everything,
Yeah.
back to back like that. And some of it take like sometimes we would see them working on something like on an elimination that was going to be on Friday. We'd see them like, or we'd drive past and see the cranes there on Wednesday.
Mm.
Like things take a while.
Yeah.
And uh, so I feel like it was set up to be that. If anything, it's funny. I think that we expected it to be one challenge sooner to go to elimination,
Okay.
because I feel like it was actually we went individual when there was 18 left, and I think that since we started with 40, we thought it was going to go
Right.
individual at 20.
Because Rachel did
Um,
the solo challenge.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. When Rachel was solo, and he's like, "All right, see you guys tomorrow," we're like, "Oh, okay." Like,
Yeah.
so we're just gonna keep going in
Now, I'm
teams.
curious. Obviously, you're all there. You want to win and you want the money. Now, do you think if they actually did a team, a true team thing again, not talking like partner, but like I did, all right, we're gonna do teams of four, whatever it may be. Is that gonna discourage a lot of people from coming, at least the bigger names, because it's less money in the prize pot? Or do you think people would still be down to say, I'm coming, I'm in for a true team game, start to finish?
I think it would be just as encouraging, if not more. I like you can definitely tell a little like there's I think some people come knowing that they are probably not going to win. In my honest opinion, I do
Right.
feel like there are people who know that is very unlikely. That I have taken an incredible series of events for them to win, and I think that if anything, that might be more encouraging of them to come and be like, wait, like I'm coming not just to collect a check, but like I might actually win this,
Yeah.
and because I have a big team, so I can imagine that being more encouraging. And at the end of the day, like if you're it depends on what side of the team. If you're splitting $1 million with four people, that's still a nice
350.
check.
Yeah.
If you're splitting $100,000 with eight people,
That's
Yeah.
as
not
I feel like some
cool.
of the seasons used to do, I'm like, that's crazy. But that is I mean it's still awesome because these are once again, like these are things I would pay to do. And the fact
Yeah.
that we have the reverse of that is like really cool.
All right.
Like the
That makes
dream.
makes sense. Makes sense. So the nickname you got this season, I thought it was great. Did you like the calculator nickname?
I didn't mind it. I think I feel like part of my ego in terms of like I'm like guy like not even like you're probably ego or something. I'm like guys, I can do more than math. Like I am,
Yeah.
kind of strong. Like that's I'd say I went running this morning
Right.
and I saw some people on the trail that knew that were big challenge fans, and they're like, "You're kind of big," and I was like,
Tallest guy in the
"Yeah,
house,
like."
probably.
Like, yeah, I was like, I'm not like, it's the funny thing is people are like, oh, we haven't seen him like in a physical elimination. I'm like, CT and Theo were the only people bigger than me, and maybe Mark
Right.
Long were the only people bigger than me in the house. Like, I'm not a
Yeah,
small
I think
person.
that surprised me, Kyland is. I know you met up with Joe at the Big Brother premiere party in the
And he was
summer.
very tall in
I,
person.
and
Very
I,
tall.
and I saw you from a distance for out of bounds, but the thing that was striking to me is I watched Big Brother, watch the challenge. I'm like, wow, everybody's so tall. I'm at this party. I'm like, these people are shorter than me. I'm 6 foot. Kylan's over here. He's one of the tallest guys. I thought Josh Martinez was a giant. He wasn't too tall either. So I
He was
was
like
really
an inch taller
surprised.
than yeah.
Yeah, but you think,
Yeah.
oh, well, Josh must be 6'4" or something. No. So
No,
everybody's
I
everybody's on the
agree.
playing field, and Kylan's a tall dude, and he gets the extra height with the hair too.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. But the calculator, I do love it. I love some good alliteration, and I think math is something I'm good at,
Yeah,
and I'm good at it in those situations,
you
and I feel like
dominated in the
that
final,
stands
the
out.
math challenge.
Oh, that was another one. I wish they showed. Like I think they had the second cut of because we had to like film it twice because TJ laughed so hard at Johnny when we did it when they call because he like calls out the question and both of us write like half of one number and then I said it and he was like he's dying laughing in Johnny's face. He's like you didn't even write it down. And then I think because he was laughing we redid that and
Ah,
they
jeez.
and I feel like I was like, oh man, that was actually
Calculator.
one of my
That was
favorite
perfect.
moments.
I figured you didn't write anything. You were just like, "Oop, got it."
Yeah, like I started writing a number and I was like, oh, never mind, it's not something you need to write down. Like,
Easy.
so it was fun. Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it for sure.
How was the food in the challenge house? Seems like a lot of it's catered. It has to be a lot better than Big Brother, where you had to cook. No BLTs though for you in the challenge house,
And
Kyle.
no slop either.
Yes. Okay. Better than slop, and for sure the BLT yeah the sandwiches, the club sandwiches, Jackass of Clubs. I was trying to remember. Um, it's great to not have those. However, I will say I genuinely believe that because of Ozza and Derek X, we ate I think easily the best of any people in the Big Brother house ever because they love to cook and they're very good cooks. But it is nice to not have to cook in the challenge house like they do the catering. We got a lot of nice pho because we're in Vietnam. We they adjust. Like it's funny. The first breakfast they brought the first couple of days was like I guess a very traditional Vietnamese style breakfast, which was like none of the stuff that we would traditionally think of in an American breakfast. And but they were very accommodating because we're like, hey, like could we maybe get some eggs and like bacon
Hmm.
and stuff? And they switched it up for us. And but then the lunch and dinner, we still got to try, some Vietnamese food and then they grill up a lot of like or maybe not grill, but they cook up a lot of like meats and stuff. So there's usually a decent amount of selections. But we also have time. So most meals, I actually still find myself in the kitchen, just to like doctor it up a little bit. Cause I'm like, why not? Like I like it as it is, but if I can make it to where I love it, I
Yeah.
have the time. We're doing nothing. So I might as well enjoy every bit. And that usually created, people waiting to try to get some of my food, but, which I didn't mind because once again, we have the time. So, but it's pretty, I thought it was pretty good. The pho was good. And then the food we also had these random frozen burgers that were from Australia. It was like
Wow.
Australian beef. And they were some of the, like, easily the best frozen burgers I've ever had. Like,
Great.
they, like, everyone acknowledged, like, we're like, these are crazy good frozen burgers. So that was really good.
Kylan, I gotta know, lemon or lime?
Lime.
Interesting. Nick,
Yes.
are you a lemon or lime guy?
I like both mixed.
Right?
Okay. We got some, was that Sprite? No. Wait, what about you, Joe?
Lemon. But I like lime.
But lemon for like for what? Because my brain instantly went to tacos. I was like, I love lime on my tacos,
That's
on my
interesting.
burritos,
I'm actually
I go
whatever.
to
having
a beverage. I go to like a drink
right.
for my lime.
So
That makes sense.
I'm having tacos tonight. That makes sense. But I'm
Yeah,
also
lime
Italian.
for the tacos, definitely.
So in
Oh, Italians
traditional
like pastas.
Italians, yeah, you gotta go
uh,
lemon.
right, so in Italian ices too.
Oh, yo, Italian ice is
Lemon
So
ice.
yeah,
the first
okay.
thought is a lemon ice. So if that's not, I mean, you can get like flavored ices and stuff like that, and there are places in New York by Nick and I where you could do that. But traditionally it's like when you're going for an ice and you're Italian, it's either a spumoni or a lemon. And obviously they're both very, very different. So that's
Yes.
where my head goes for lemon.
Spumoni is the mixed flavors?
Yeah, it's like cream molata, pistachio, and chocolate
Yeah,
mix.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Listen,
Yeah,
Joe,
see, that's the
next time
first.
Kylan's in New York, I think we gotta take
Yeah.
him around to these great eateries near us.
That's
Yo, Italian ice, I'm down, but
Spumoni
anything.
garden.
I love. I am picky, but I love a lot of food. I just like there's just some things I like. I don't like seafood, but I like pretty much anything that where there's chicken, beef, like or bread. Like I'm
Yeah,
there, and I'm
or
gonna
bread.
find something I like.
sounds good.
That sounds very good. Kylan, I gotta ask you quickly. A little
Yes.
big, going back to Big Brother. Obviously, you're a part of one of the most successful, well-known alliances, and I think if they were to do All Stars a little sooner because they waited too long the first time around, hopefully they have it within the next couple of seasons.
I
It's
agree.
the cookout is definitely you guys. I think would definitely have at least one or two people go back in the house, right? So if they approached you to do Big Brother's All Stars, would you do it? Yes or no?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There
I
you
love
go.
Big Brother. It's such a cool game. I would hope to be, I would hope to be a part of that. I think, I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine a few.
If
We
you
had quite a few people, but I'd love to be
if you could go back for an all-star season and you could pick one person that you would want to play the game with or see in the house, who would it be?
Tiffany. Yeah, she's just.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We're still very close, and I mean, I don't want to admit full culpability here, but I do feel like uh, if I'd kept her in the game, I share fault with her because I was like, if I kept her in the game, she would have won. I think when we got to six, basically when we got to six, I was talking to her and I was like, who should we get out? Who's my biggest competition
Hmm.
between you and Xavier? And she told me it was Xavier. When the truth was it was her, and she knew that, but she didn't understand that I am not a normal person and actually did want to sit with the best in final two. So
Right.
she was like, "Oh, it's Xavier. It's Xavier," because she thought I'd cut him. Even though, but she knew I had told her since the first week. I was like, I want to sit against the biggest competition in the final two. So she did know that answer. She just didn't believe me. And it's funny because she just had such a good read on
Right.
everyone in the house. Like the amount of people who were just absolutely like diehard for Tiffany was incredible. And so I thought I was like, oh, it's not you. She's like, no, like it's Xavier. I was like, okay, well then, all right, so I'll keep him. And obviously that didn't work out for
That didn't
either
work
of us.
out.
So for me or her. So I just was like, ah man, like, okay, you should have been honest with me, but also I should have not
Tiffany.
believed you and I should have kept you because then it could have been me and you and then she would have won. So I'm like, and I feel like genuinely outside of that decision, I think that her gameplay is incredible. I think she's one of the greatest to ever play the games. But it just happened to be that one decision in that in one moment where it cost her. And but her ability to just bring people in is amazing.
All right, so we'll keep an eye out for an all-star season with Kylan's return to the Big Brother house.
That would be cool for
Kylan,
sure.
I think if you go in, you better hope that nobody from the cookout's with you because you'll have a massive target on your back. You're going up on the block the first week. That's what I would think. So I would think you want to go with like Derek X. You guys could, or Alyssa, you guys could partner up. That nobody will try.
DX is my guy for sure, but he's not doing. He's like, I got my win. I'm the fastest racer in the world, so
Yeah, amazing
he's
race.
chilling.
All right, we'll see what happens. It wouldn't be an all-star season without him, I think. That's my opinion. So,
Oh, Derek X is most of my family's favorite Big Brother player of my season over me. Like it's
That's not surprising.
yeah. I was like,
Very good.
fine.
fair enough. All right, Kylan, we talked about it before. I said if we're doing like a team season of the challenge, give me your dream partners for the challenge. So we'll go, give me two girls and give me one guy for your foursome team.
Um,
It could be somebody
for
from, it could be it could be people from Big Brother, it could be people from the challenge, but a team of four, obviously you're on it. So two girls and one other guy.
I mean, ooh,
You gotta go
I
Horacio and Reese.
Yeah, it's hard not to. It's like
Yeah.
Horacio and Reese and um maybe even I'm like it's that third spot I'm trying to think. I'm like who would that be? Like it might be uh I was like who wait, I'm like who's in the
Go with your
season?
girl Alyssa Lopez.
We love
She got
Alyssa
screwed over
Lopez.
too.
I can't believe she didn't get in the regular
You
challenge. She
both,
was
you
really
both, you
Yeah.
both
impressive.
got screwed over. You both should have won.
Thank you. You know what help actually I'm Alyssa Lopez for sure. She's very smart. I also though Casey. Like Casey's like just very well connected in the house, and I think she has such a well-rounded skill set. Even even if people portray like think of her as like boring or whatever, it's like she's just unproblematic. So she gets along with everyone. People get along with her, and she is good at a lot of stuff. So that would probably round us out nicely.
Mm.
Will Horacio be back on the challenge?
I hope so. I understand either way, and I support him either way. I'm definitely gonna always like nudge and hope. Yeah, he has told me before. He said if you win one, then I can use that as leverage to bring him back. Be like, hey,
Mm.
like, all right, I won one. Now I want to do one with you.
Well, I mean, here's the
And
thing. If they do ride or dies again, they do male partners. That's a
that's
gag.
what trust. That it would be amazing. Yeah, I definitely would love for them to do that. It is. I don't know. I feel like they haven't done that for a while. I mean, I guess they're doing this Rivals All Stars 5, but like,
Yeah.
why not? I think that could also be a really cool concept. I mean, Rivals, I doubt they'll do a Rivals in the flagship for a while because of this All
Yeah.
Stars 5. So maybe they will do a Ride or Dies, yeah, matching pairs, which would be pretty epic. That would be pretty
Yeah.
epic.
I'd like to see another battle of the seasons, and then you have the Big Brother team in there, the ultimate team. So I'm curious, who do you think that has never been on a challenge, not even USA, would be good from Big Brother on the challenge?
Wait, not being on.
So they weren't on Challenge USA. They were on Big
Okay.
Brother though. And
Okay, got it.
yeah.
I think, I mean, the question is who would be good?
Yes, who would be good on the
Yes.
show?
Okay, who would be good? I imagine this most recent season's Big Brother had this dude Tucker.
Tucker's the
Yeah,
man.
He
I
is.
got
The
Tucker.
best.
I love Tucker. Like he really. I feel like this is probably this season. The first half when Tucker was there was
Oh,
probably
it's so good.
the most that I
Absolutely.
followed a Big Brother
It's
season in a
awesome.
while.
It was so
Like
good.
I have not been.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
and
I don't know.
and
I
because
mean, you
him.
would have had a tough time navigating him in the house.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, any season. And he's just and also
He would
the
cause
added.
chaos in
Yeah,
the
he's
challenge
good
house.
and he causes chaos. So I think that would be. I'd love to see Tucker for sure.
All right. I think that's a good one, Joe. What do you think?
I
Anything
think that
else
was a
comes
good
to your
one.
mind, Joe?
Yeah, I was gonna say my first two names were Tucker and Matt. My guy Matt.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh wait, Matt from recent
sociable.
season?
Matt Klotz,
I
yeah.
don't. I don't
On
want to say. I don't want to
two
say
seasons
he's
ago.
he's a great swimmer. So I
He's a
think
good swimmer, yeah. Professional swimmer, yeah.
He
right.
is. He
He is.
And then Joe Abden would be good too.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
of course,
Of
Joseph. Yeah,
course.
yeah, yeah. I'd love to see Joseph too. These are
Good, bro.
solid.
So
Yeah.
who from the challenge now do you think would do well in the Big Brother house? Could be from either the two challenge seasons that you were on.
Um, I think are they going in with their reputations or just as like
Yes.
a fresh player?
Yes. No,
With
Oh,
the
you
okay.
reputations, yeah.
Okay. Um, I kind of do think Michelle because I feel like prior to this season 40, I think people did, which sucked. I think in the karma vote side, I feel like people weren't voting off of how she was interacting with them. It was just based off of like past relationships or who they or their friends or whatever. Um, and people saw her as like a reputation of having like this kind of duplicitous reputation, and she, which could work out to her advantage because when you meet her, she's super personable and
Yeah.
kind, and she's very strategic. So I think that could, if anything, help her. People come in wanting to distrust her, and then they're like, "Wait, she's so nice, though." That could be huge. And then, but I'm trying to think of non-survivor also, and I don't know. I do think a hmm, maybe someone like an Avery, because
Yeah,
she
Avery would be
is,
nice. He'd be good.
Avery
and
would be good in the Big Brother
Derek
house.
Chavez. Derek Chavez navigated this game making zero enemies.
Right.
He
That's
is,
important.
he made nobody bothered, not even just enemies. He made nobody upset and navigated all the way. And so, and he is skilled and smart. So he's for sure a huge threat. And yeah, but Avery, like I said, she has so much heart, as we saw, and she's so friendly. So I think that it may make people that those things could combine for people for her to go far.
Absolutely. Good candidates. So if anybody would know the answer to this, it would probably be you. The challenge and the Big Brother, two incredibly passionate fan bases. And like I said, there's a lot of overlap, but they're not totally the same, right?
For sure.
Who do you think is the more passionate fan base, Big Brother or the challenge?
I think what's interesting. I was gonna say Big Brother, but I think Big Brother is the more obsessed,
Yes.
and the
Yeah,
challenge is the more passionate. I
right.
think challenge people are passionate in the same way people are for like sports,
Yeah.
and Big Brother people are obsessed,
Yeah.
to very deep degrees. I think just because
Yeah,
it's
Big Brother fans are Looney
daily.
Tunes.
Right. I mean, be
To
honest,
put it
Kylan.
politely.
Yeah,
When you went to some Big
including
Brother
me.
gatherings with fans post Big Brother, you had to be scared at times to see these fans come up to you.
I mean, yeah, because it is just the parasocial relationship is so much deeper in Big Brother because of the live feeds. Like it
Right.
really is this daily interaction, and there's also a little bit of like entitlement because of the live feeds. Like, well, I know everything about you. It's like, well, no, like you've
Yeah.
watched me while playing a game for 3 months. That's not the same thing.
Fair.
So
Fair
that is,
enough.
yeah.
All right. So, Kylan's, we'll get to our signature question here. So, in the time since you have started in the challenge verse to now, what would you say is your "you know I'm right" moment? What I mean by that, it's a time or place where you wanted to pursue something. You asked somebody for advice. So this could be asking advice about going into the game or during the game. Somebody said, Kylan, like, that's a bad idea. Don't do that. It's not going to work out. And you were like, you know what? I'm going to trust my gut. I'm going to do it anyway. And in the end, you will see why it is that I'm right about this. And I can tell you, I told you so.
Oh, um, oh, okay. Wait. Let me think about that. Is there a time? I
Yes.
mean, okay, nothing in the challenge is coming to mind in this second. So I'm gonna push towards Big Brother. You said, oh, wait, does this have to
You
be a
can give me
challenge
a
or
Big
is that
Brother
a
answer. Go
Could be a
ahead.
Big
That's
Brother
fine.
moment.
uh sending out Brittany on my second HOH? That was people in the cookout wanted someone else. And I was like, no, it needs to be Brittany. And this is and because I wasn't even trying to win the HOH, but I thought that people would be on board. And then once I did win, I
Mhm.
found out people didn't actually want that to happen. And I was like, wait, this is what has to happen. And I think it's safe. Like a lot of us have said that, if things didn't happen exactly as they were, then we wouldn't have made it to final six. And I feel like that was the one decision where I was pretty outnumbered and was like, no, this is what we need to do. And because I was HOH, they followed suit. And who like we don't know that we wouldn't have made it in round six, but we do know, but we can't say that for certainty. So that feels like a moment where I was like, I know I'm right, and we made it, so we can't say it didn't work.
There's a bizarro timeline, I think, when it comes to the cookout. So the final three was Ozza, Derek, and Xavier. I think there's a bizarro world final three where it's you, Chad, and Tiffany. What do you think?
Definitely.
Right?
And yeah, definitely.
If a couple of circumstances, right, in that final
Probably
six,
that, yeah,
yeah,
probably the one I said. If I switched that
right.
up, it probably would have been that. That probably would have been the final three.
Okay, good to know. I've always had that thought in my mind. Thank you
No,
for
you're right.
confirming it.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you coming on again. Once again, Kylan, you're now two-time guest. Um,
Thank you.
Hopefully, I'll be able to go out to California really soon. If not, you come to New York. Hopefully, sometime before the end of the year, you come reach out. Well, we'd love to go out and spend
Yeah, we're gonna hang
lunch with
out, the three
you.
of us and Tuck, our buddy Tucker.
Our
Yeah,
buddy
hey,
Tucker.
yeah, Tucker.
Kylan.
I'd love to. Yeah,
Tucker, great
he's out there
people.
too. So yeah, we'd love to do it.
He's been on a couple of times with
Well,
us, so
listen,
yeah,
Joe, we'll
appreciate
probably
it.
maybe we'll see Kylan at the Big Brother premiere party, unless of course he's away filming the challenge. So you never know, we could run into
I don't
Kylan.
know. I don't know if he wants to do the challenge a second time, but he is willing to do Big Brother a second time, and
He'll
I
be
think
on
he
the. Are you
should
kidding me? Kylan's gonna be on the
Oh,
next 5 seasons of the
I want
challenge.
to do the challenge forever.
forever. You love it, huh? Can't
At
get
least the
enough of
next
it.
decade. If it's an option, I will.
Become one of those dynasty competitors.
I wouldn't mind. I
So you
love
know what,
it.
Kylan,
That's sick.
you're gonna have to like make some rivals because in case you do a
Yeah.
rival season because we had from All Stars with us, Jay was on with us, and then he was telling us recently he's like I got screwed. I could they wanted me on All Stars 5, but then I was only an alternate because I didn't have a rival, so they sent me home. So you
Good
gotta
thing to know.
make some enemies, Kylan, for the
All
future. But
right.
make this
You're too
repeatedly.
nice.
Do it
You're
with
too
somebody
good.
who's really, really good. So it sets you up like when Wes and CT were rivals. There was a no doubter that they
Facts.
would.
Facts. Hey, maybe they'll set up. I feel like Rivals is used loosely sometimes, so maybe it could be me and X.
That'd
Yeah.
be good.
Is X gonna get back on on TV? I know he did his the anonymous game, but it seems like
Yeah.
he's so anti-challenge after DX and Alyssa got some payback on USA.
I don't. I think he'd be down. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I know he's doing a lot though. So he
I
has his
love that.
business and life. So
He's
yeah.
doing
So we'll
very good in
see.
his business. Lawyer, yes. We met him too at the premiere party. So Nick, that's somebody we got to get onto. So, Kyle, if you could help us with that, we would absolutely love
Yeah,
that.
yeah. If
But
you follow
again,
up with me, I will definitely send the note. Yeah.
appreciate that. But Kyle, you know how this works. We always give our guests the last word. So once again, we thank you for being a two-time guest. Appreciate you. Hopefully get to see you in person real again soon. And again, you're very, very tall. So, but we always give our guests the last word.
Joe, maybe
So
you're just not that tall.
I'm average. I'm an average Joe. It's in the name.
Yeah, I love it.
Too good.
Then, like I said, if there's anything updated you would like to share, promote for yourself, where can we find you, all that. But once again, we thank you for your time, Colin. Appreciate it.
No, well, yeah, I'm just Kyland Young on all the platforms, Kyland.Young on TikTok, since that's still around for now. And
For now.
I'll try and post there, whatever I got going on. But I just really appreciate both of you, Nick and Joe. Thank you guys for having me, and looking forward to time number 3.
All right, Kylan, we're gonna keep your word there. After the next season of the challenge, we'll have you on again. And this is gonna do it here for this episode of You Know I'm Right for the challenge and Big Brother fourth place winner, Kylan Young, and my co-host Joe Calabrese. I'm Nick Durst, and this has been You Know I'm Right.